When it comes to getting started in voiceover, there is an order of importance in which things need to be done to help ensure your success. And unfortunately, most people get it wrong. This morning, we're going to discuss what should be your number one priority when it comes to voiceover. Good morning, I'm Bill DeWeese, professional voiceover talent and voiceover coach. Welcome to my channel. Make sure to subscribe so that you get notifications of my live stream, which I do every weekday morning. And as well, if you don't mind, give it a thumbs up if you like the video, share the video, and we will continue our mission of helping voiceover talent become profitable or more profitable. In other words, how do you take voiceover and turn it from a passion or a hobby, something that you may play around with, and turn it into a career where you're consistently making a good income and can make it even your full-time income and career? So what's the priority? When you're starting anything, it's important to understand what's most important. And I think to understand what's most important in voiceover, we need to understand a little bit of the history of where we've come from and why things have changed and why people keep missing the ball when it comes to what's most important in voiceover. So you go back a few years, and it used to be that two of the three major aspects of voiceover were taken care of by somebody else. What do I mean by that? Well, first of all, if you were to record a voiceover, you would most likely go to a studio, a professional studio someplace, where tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars or more were invested in a dedicated professional studio. Today, folks still do on occasion travel into a studio, but by and large, I would say well over 90% of us do our work, or at least over 90% of our work, maybe closer to 99% of our work, happens in our home studio. So that's fallen on our shoulders. It used to be, if you wanted to work in voiceover and get jobs, you depended on an agent or agents to get that work for you. They were the gatekeepers. We didn't have the technology we have today. We didn't have the internet, at least not at the level that we have it today. It was a different ballgame. Today, if you're solely reliant on an agent or agents for jobs, all I can tell you is good luck with that. And then finally, the other piece of it's the performance piece. That rests solely on our shoulders. We can get help with that, but we don't go to somebody else to do that for us. We do that ourselves. So let's go back to the first piece of the puzzle, of the three things that I just talked about, and that is recording the audio. Well, back when we would go to studios to do this, we relied and depended on a professional studio to ensure a professional product. Well, today, that's not the way it works. Today, that is on our shoulders. So not only do we have to become marketers and performers, but we have to become audio engineers, at least of sorts, not a professional audio engineer. You don't need to understand every in and out of professional audio, but you have to produce a professional product. So the number one priority, the most important thing when it comes to voiceover, is getting the audio right. Because if you don't have the audio right, learning the skills, the performance skills, marketing yourself will be of no avail. It won't help you because your product will be fundamentally flawed. And it's unfortunate, and it's difficult, and I get it. And it seems to be the biggest hurdle for most people. In terms of learning performance skills, people can, you can learn that. Most everyone can learn that. When it comes to marketing, you can learn that. But when it comes to equipment, and whether it's hardware or software and knobs and, making sure that everything is dialed in right, that can feel like an overwhelming task. It doesn't need to be, but it certainly feels that way when you're first getting started. And unfortunately, many people's careers are crushed before they even get started without even realizing the reason. And that's the sad part. They don't even know that it's because it's their audio. They spend all this money with performance coaching and learning the craft of voiceover, only in the end to be destroyed because their audio did not meet standard. So make that your first priority, because once you get audio in place, think of it this way. When it comes to performance and even marketing, you will learn that, and you will evolve your skills and you'll grow your skills. Voiceover audio is not much a skill for you as it is a task that needs to be done at the beginning. In other words, you don't need ongoing coaching for audio. You don't need to be thinking about it every day for the rest of your career. You need to get it set up properly and then leave it alone and not think about it. Don't tinker with it. Don't change your equipment out. Don't be touching the knobs. Get it set up well to begin with, and then forget about it and focus on performance and marketing. So where does that leave us? Okay, well, you can learn to become your own engineer, and you certainly can. And I had to early on because the resources weren't available at that time that are available now. Now, I came from a broadcast background, but that people mistakenly thought that I was an expert in audio, and I certainly was not. I mean, I think I had a pretty good ear and knew what sounded good and what didn't sound good, but in terms of how to make it sound that way, I didn't know. And so early in my career, I spent a lot of time studying and listening and experimenting. And fortunately, today there are resources where you can learn faster, get the information you need, or you can simply find an engineer to set it up for you. And then let it be. Forget about it. Move on to developing your performance and your marketing skills. I have to give a plug to Alex at BillDeWeese.com. Alex, he's a pro audio guy. This is what he does. He sets people up. So if you need somebody who's really affordable, really easy to work with, and will make your audio sound the best it can so that you can just leave it alone and focus on the performance and the marketing aspects of voiceover, he's the guy to contact. Alex at BillDeWeese.com. But make sure, regardless of who you work with or how you do it, and even if you want to learn it yourself, get your audio right, because if that's not right, nothing else works.